In May 1954, two Peruvians living in the city of Ayacucho would have a bizarre encounter in their home. Carlos and Anita Jimenez had spent their afternoon shopping, buying groceries, and doing other things. As they returned home to their small house in the city, the couple began unloading groceries in their kitchen. Then, a noise that sounded like footsteps came from the upstairs. Anita grabbed Carlos, and as the two headed up, they saw something they would never forget. As the couple began going bedroom to bedroom, they didn't find anyone initially. Then Anita sensed that the intruder was in their bedroom. Anita pulled her husband, and the two stood outside the door, listening quietly. After a minute, they heard the footsteps in the bedroom. They quickly swung open the door, but were stunned at what was there. Across the bed, the two saw what appeared to be a very gorgeous woman. The two stood in the doorway and looked on in amazement. The being appeared to be surprised, but also annoyed that it had been found. The being was around 5 feet 6 inches tall. It had a golden tan and large, curly, dark brown hair. The being wore hoop earrings and sandals, along with what the witnesses described as skimpy attire. It had an avocado green swimsuit-like outfit. The being wore a short jacket similar to a bolero jacket. In addition, it had a strange white object on its arm. Anita would ask the being who she was and what it was doing. After staring at them for some time, the being said, in very broken Spanish, "My name is Julu, and I am not from here." After this, the intruder lifted its forearm, and on the white object on its arm, Carlos and Anita could see different lights up and down it. The being began pressing the different lights as if she was texting on a smartphone. Immediately, a red mist formed between Carlos and Anita and the being. An angered Carlos rushed toward the being, but as soon as he did, he hit the red mist. He screamed and fell onto the bedroom floor. Anita ran to help him as Carlos was in a state of shock. Carlos's fingertips were bright red and covered in blisters as if he had been burned. At this point, the being turned toward the bedroom wall, and on the wall, a gold light shined through it. It grew bigger and bigger until it covered the entire wall, almost floor to ceiling. The being went into the light and then disappeared. Then the red mist vanished as well. Carlos and Anita would later describe the light as soft and appearing like oil on floating water. For some reason, after around 20 seconds, Anita opened the curtains in the direction the being went. She couldn't believe it when she saw it running down the street. It had normal clothes on and was easy to spot with its unique hair. The two rushed out and started chasing the being. The two had no luck though, as far ahead on the street, it flagged a cab and got away. Later they would report the encounter to the police. This case is certainly a fascinating one. It has several characteristics seen in other alien encounters, but also has some unique elements that raise questions. We've seen in other cases beings taking the form of gorgeous men or women. Also, there are many reports of beings walking or traveling through walls. Still, some of the elements of the case are strange and atypical. For example, the red mist appearing between the two. Also, it seems strange the being, after walking through the wall, couldn't just vanish completely. Ultimately, this case is only as good as the witness's statement. It seems like such a bizarre story that there would be almost no reason for the witnesses to create this. They most likely would have been met with ridicule in their community. Other than the UFO journal this was pulled from, it's hard to imagine that any other documentation, such as newspaper articles, exists for this. It's important to note many believe that we are being visited by multiple types of alien species. While gray aliens and Nordics are reported in the majority of cases, we do see quite a number of close encounters of the third kind where other types of beings are seen and reported. This leads many to believe that some of these odd beings could be either demonic or possibly interdimensional. This is difficult to know though, and should be looked at on a case-by-case basis. This case is definitely a fascinating one, but like many, would really benefit from additional details surrounding it.